Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a very interesting show for you. Yep, the Flop Bowl. And Kirk Herbstreit was not happy with Oklahoma's behavior last night. He called it he called it a lot of things. The whole flopping deal with the defensive player that kept pretending he was hurt. He had a lot to say about that. What a ball game. Oklahoma's defense is for real. I'm going to tell you something. They played well. They gave our offense, look, they're the first team since Georgia to stop our running game. Now, they didn't stop it completely, but they stopped it pretty well to where we were struggling. And only Georgia's been able to do that with a light box. Oklahoma was able to do that. And I didn't think they could. I thought if they had 5 or 6 in the box, which they did most of the time last night, that we'd have over 200 yards rushing. We wound up with around 150, and it didn't feel like 150 either. It was really a struggle. And with us having both our tackles out last night, they were able to come around the edge, and they were lighting Nico up, causing 2 strip fumbles, or one was basically while he was throwing it. And they got on him, according to Coach Jay, in 1.6 and 1.8 seconds. There's no way you can have a passing play in under 2 seconds. You can't do it. It's almost impossible. So I got to give Oklahoma a lot of credit for their defense. Their offense wasn't very good. They also have injury problems. It wasn't just Tennessee. They've had injury problems on their offensive line and their wide receivers. And that didn't help them much on offense, but our defense balled out as well. It was really a defensive game. Our offense just did enough. You know, we scored enough points to get ahead to where there wasn't much they could do. And really, Coach Heupel went conservative. For the first time ever, Josh Heupel realized he's got a defense that he can count on, so he played conservatively, even not going for it on their 42, 4th and 2. He always went for that for the last 3 years, every single time. Didn't last night. So part of that was respect for Oklahoma's defense, and part of it was respect for our defense, which again is very rare. But anyway, let's get into this whole flopping thing. We're also going to talk about that field at Oklahoma. Now, if you're an Oklahoma fan, you're probably okay up to this point because I've kind of talked good about you. The rest of this video you may not like, and it's just best. You know what? Let me let Humongous tell you. Tell him.
Just walk away.
Yeah, it might just be best for you to walk away because this is going to get a little rough. I don't like this flopping, and we're going to talk about that crappy field too. Yeah, Kirk Herbstreit called out Oklahoma for unethical as hell injury situation. He says it's not necessarily against the rules, but it's unethical as hell. Tennessee, of course, had just picked up a first down. They did it a couple of times in the first quarter with a 38-yard pass play from Nico to Brew McCoy. And before the offense could run another play, Sooners defensive tackle went down with an apparent injury. He was helped off the field by a couple of athletic staffers. Fans have seen this situation play out countless times. A team makes a big play, gets ready for another, the defense is winded, and a defender suddenly goes down with an injury to stop the action. Basically, it's a free timeout, or a lot of people call it a Kiffin timeout. He said the problem is sometimes it's not an injury, but a real injury, so it's usually best to tread lightly in these situations. But ABC rolled a replay of number 95 appearing to glance at the Sooners sideline before going down. Herbstreit immediately took the injury angle, quote-unquote injury. He says, this is college football. It drives me crazy. He said they look over after a big play, and all of a sudden he looks over and he just goes down. It's not necessarily against the rules, but it's unethical as hell when you see this all over against these up-tempo offenses. Guys go down with the quote-unquote injury. Now watch him. Right here he is. He looks over the sideline. He's fine. Oh, they shot me in my leg. Oh, they shot me in my leg all of a sudden.
Oh, my arm. It's broken.
Good Lord. What is this buffoon done now? Let's have a look at that.
But somehow he was able to come back in the game. Then it happened again, and he was able to come back in the game again. I think he even got a sack. You know, I think if he hadn't looked at the sideline, that wouldn't have happened. But for some reason, when he did, it just, this injury occurred. So anyway, that's just, it's borderline cheating is what it is. Let's just call it what it is. It really is cheating. Okay, you just got yourself a free timeout or a Lane Kiffin timeout. Now, I expect that kind of crap from him. He's pretty much, he's Lane Kiffin. He's a backstabber. It's the type of crap that he does. Okay, that's just who the dude is. Sorry, Ole Miss fans, but he's going to creak you eventually and go to Florida. Although I don't think he should at this point. He's got a great job, tons of money down there, and he can win an Addy down there. I don't know why he would leave and go to that pressure cooker of Gainesville. But anyway, he probably will because that's who he is. But I didn't expect that from Brent Venables. I thought he was a better dude than that. I'm very disappointed in him. He's a great defensive coordinator. Don't get it twisted. He's a heck of a ball coach. And I think Oklahoma's going to be good long term because he's got the defense rolling. And if he gets that offense going, I mean, you're going to be in every game with that defense. You just are. If you're able to stop the Vols, you can stop anybody. Just know that. So you're going to be in every ball game. It's just a matter of whether you can score enough points. And you may go with that new guy who can run as long as he doesn't get hurt. Man, he's awful dangerous out there on himself. He got hit a bunch. But I really expected more out of Brent Venables to pull that kind of stunt, and I didn't like it. The other thing I want to talk about, so I think this is the thing that made me the maddest. That field was trash. It was slick. It hadn't been mowed. I mean, what the crap? Did y'all water it down so we couldn't run? It was to slow down the faster team? That's what it looked like happened there? I mean, that was one of the worst fields I've ever seen. Everybody was slipping, but our guys were slipping 5 times worse than Oklahoma's. I'm wondering if Oklahoma knew that and had different cleats or something, because that was ridiculous. That field was garbage. And it's Oklahoma. You can grow Bermuda in 95-degree weather like it's a weed. You should have a beautiful field. That didn't make any sense. Something really squirrely went on with that field, and it affected the game in a very significant way. As a matter of fact, the biggest play Oklahoma had was our safety slipped trying to cover a slant play there at the end, and it was a 50-yard play. Had he not slipped, there's no way. He would at least would have tackled him with a 10-yard gain. And there was just countless times that happened. That field is garbage. And really, that should be reported to the SEC, and they need to do something about that. And you need to either fire the groundskeeper or give him a raise for doing a great job, because that was ridiculous. Sorry, Oklahoma. I told you not to watch this if you're an Oklahoma fan. You were warned. That made me so mad I was cursing, but y'all don't need to hear that.
You don't need to hear things like that. You just a boy. You need to think about good thoughts while you're still a boy.
Yep. Yeah, you don't need to hear that kind of language, but I'm telling you, I was letting some fly last night. Between those two things, the fake injuries and the ridiculous field conditions, about made me nuts. And I tell you, my battered Vols syndrome started kicking in. Towards the end, I was going, well, if they score 2 touchdowns and get 2 extra points and get an onside kick, and I'm sitting here going, we're off the next week. If they pull off some miracle, we're going to have to live with this for 2 weeks and have everybody and their brother on YouTube laughing and having a ball at our expense. I knew it was coming, and they would have worn me out. So I was stressing. I had the definite BVS going. But anyway, it was a heck of a ball game. It was very stressful. I didn't sleep well last night. I was still wound up about that ball game.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Yeah, I was jacked up on Mountain Dew, man. I'm telling you, it was, God, I know a lot of y'all felt the same way. And I was watching a lot of the other YouTubers this morning that were talking about the game, and they felt like we won it easily and we didn't have anything to stress about. But see, that's that battered Vol syndrome. It kicks in. I still got a little touch of it. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you have it yourself. Both my brothers have been recovering from it for years. Anyway, I'm glad we won. It's a great win on the road against a very good team in Oklahoma. I know they're not a great team right now, but that defense was excellent. That's the best defense we've faced all year, and only Georgia will have a better defense, and maybe we'll see about Alabama. I don't know. But that's probably the best defense we'll face other than Georgia. And I don't think Georgia will be much better than that. So anyway, anytime you get a win on the road in the SEC against a power team like that, you should be happy, even under these circumstances. And hopefully we get our tackles back, and I hope Oklahoma gets some of their guys back too, because I hate to see injuries. It just turns the game upside down. I mean, we just weren't able to protect Nico from the edge. That's why he went conservative, by the way. If you want to know why, it's because he couldn't protect Nico from the edges to throw the ball. And he couldn't risk it. He's like, I don't need another strip sack. And he didn't want Nico to get hurt, so he just ran the ball and played the odds. And it was a little bit Philip Fulmerish, a little bit Johnny Majors, but it worked, and it was the proper way to handle it. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's be able to continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, boom, boom. Hit this little button right here. Won't cost you a dime. It helps me out. And right over here is most recent video, YouTube. Thanks, you'll enjoy. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay. Sorry, Oklahoma fans. I had to do it. I had to.